to the Behind the Drapes podcast. I am your host, Expo Rich, and we are recording here on the show floor at IAEE EXPO EXPO. I have the honor of having Ashley Kempson. She is the Director of Meetings and Conventions at the National Auto Dealers Association.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Joining me.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, we met recently at other industry events and stayed in touch, so I was excited that you were going to be out here.
Yeah, this is my first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, and well, you've actually had quite a bit of media lately. You've been in, a trade show executive, and so you are future leaders.
Women to Watch.
Women to Watch. Yes.
Yep.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, your organization is pretty big and important as well. I mean,
we were named top 41 trade show this year with Trade Show Executive.
Congratulations. Very nice.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really love to start with is hearing the origin story, how you became, how you stumbled upon or got into or got drug into this
weird
industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear how you got started.
Yeah, so it was kind of a winding path like most of us in this industry. I grew up in a family that was involved in the theater, so I always wanted to do something with events and, and when I went to college, I thought I was going to do concerts.
Okay.
And started out doing promotion and putting on concerts, and I realized I just liked events in general and it didn't have to be a concert.
Now, did you go to school? Was it for event organizing?
No, okay. I went to school for business administration.
Okay.
Yeah. My father went to school for music industry, and he knew how much I wanted to do it, and he refused to let me major in that. And he was like, do a business degree. Yeah,
which is smart, because then as you parlay it into someday having your own, and you'll have the bones to
it's definitely served me better.
Yeah, I ask because I'm involved with FIU. It has Florida International University in Miami, and they actually have a large-scale mega events program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm on their advisory board for their education tracks and things like that. So yeah, I work with them, and we're on a board that we sit, and I find it fascinating that now that there's such focused education on the events, and they even have specific convention and trade show classes.
Wow.
So yeah, I go and I speak at them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I always wonder, how widespread is it? Obviously UNLV in Vegas, they have one. Orlando has a Rosen Center that is in hospitality. So there's there's universities out there that are doing it, but I don't know how far it penetrates into where other people.
I think it's getting more popular. When I was in school, it definitely wasn't a thing. I think people focus more on the hospitality side of like hotels and events. And I'm seeing more programs grow into like full-on events. So my university, I did minor in sports and entertainment management. Okay. And we had a partnership with two professors from UNLV who came in, and they were tied with Feld Entertainment, which runs Ringling Brothers.
Oh, okay.
So had a lot of great opportunities through them with my minor of learning about the industry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know that they've been always a big advocate about tying in the industry and things, because obviously Vegas is the mecca of
course. Everyone loves Vegas.
Yeah. So what was your first job in the industry?
My first job in the industry was on the vendor side. I was working for a speakers bureau.
Okay.
And did that for a couple of years, and then wanted to get into logistics. I was doing more of the actually selling and like minor logistics of the speakers, but I wanted to do full on logistics. So I moved into an association and did smaller education stuff, and then just kind of worked my way up to conventions, and then had a wonderful opportunity to get in with the National Automobile Dealers.
What association did you work with prior?
The American Association for Justice, so the trial lawyers of the U.S.
Okay.
Learned a lot about the law.
Yeah. We work with one of the shows in South Florida for trial lawyers, so they're a fun bunch. Yeah, for sure. Well, so that was nice that you had the kind of the structure of an association already, and then that was kind of easy to parlay.
For sure. Associations are a different beast.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of slowly grow in that and move up to a larger show.
And the show that you're working on, you said, is coming up soon?
Yes, we're in New Orleans end of January.
Wow, that's right around the corner.
It really is.
Yeah. And is it move around, or so you're working in different markets each year?
Yep. So we're in Las Vegas every other year, and then on the odd years we shuffle around to New Orleans, Dallas, Orlando, there's only so many cities that can take a show of our size, especially during winter, which is challenging. So our options are limited. So thanks for the cities that can support us.
That's great. So throughout your career, you worked at different associations. Did you have any mentors that you look at that said, like, that person really helped me grow in my career?
Yes, 100%. So I've had two really big mentors. My boss from my previous job, she was so phenomenal. I still talk to her and ask her for advice all the time. And she just kind of let me go and learn how to do things in the convention space and gave me the freedom to try things out, mess them up, as long as I came up with a good solution in the end, and really gave me freedom. And she was also really just good to bounce ideas off of and grow in the career. So when the opportunity presented itself for this for the job at the National Automobile Dealers, she was really good about working through, like, what would that be, and long term, like, is that a good move? And I'm so thankful for her. She's still such a great resource for me. And it's nice to have somebody in the industry who supports you, but also, like, understands what you're going through, because there's only so many people who really understand this weird
having
industry.
a sounding board. For sure.
And then my current boss has been phenomenal in supporting me in my actual career growth within the organization. So she is an endless supporter of us, and she's really worked on my, like, the professional side of growing me into a leader in the position I'm in. So it's been really nice, and I love having both of them to guide me on my path.
Well, that's great. Yeah, and it's always nice to have someone pulling you up, I mean, you do have to advocate for yourself when you want to try new things and do new things, but to have somebody supporting you.
Oh my gosh, she's our biggest advocate, and it's we work in a very male-dominated industry, and so she always has our back no matter what's going on, and she's just a fearless supporter of all of us in our team.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. So, looking at your show next year, is you're a January show, so it's right around the corner, but for 2025 and then beyond this next show, but in the growth, what are some of the things that you're really excited about that is the next move and the next thing that you're going to be working on?
We just got through doing, like, a full assessment of our show with an outside consultant. It was a really good spot to be in because we weren't in a position where things were bad. It was just like a nice review. And they gave us a lot of good feedback and things that we could work towards. And so we're taking time to implement a lot of those things. But the things that I'm most excited about is implementing technology more into our space. I'm a big tech person. And so my team and I handle all the workshops for our show. And so I really want to add more tech into our workshops so that it can feel more personalized. And then overall for our show, just having more individualized attendee journeys so people can really lean on that tech to find exactly what they need while they're at the show and not waste any time. People's time is so precious getting out of the office these days. So to be able to maximize their time while they're at our event.
We've talked about a few different events I've been touching on, like, how do we craft an experience for people, because now it's like just being the show that people always go to isn't good enough anymore. And especially for as we get into these different generations that are less, let's just say, like more digitally connected than they are physically, and not as extroverted. And like when you look at this room we're in, we're like the extreme of extroverts. Everybody here is like, no problem, just walking right up, introducing themselves, asking who they are, where are you from. It's not like that in the real world. No. This is not the real world.
I remind myself of this often because my husband's an extreme introvert. So I have, the opposite on my end.
Yeah. So we really have to do things differently to craft environments that make people comfortable to start networking, because and networking itself is a skill, and it's a muscle you have to develop. And it's you can't just put a bar in a room anymore and expect people to talk. You have to be able to craft, and you have to be like a relationship builder for them. So is there anything that for NADA that you guys have looked at like that? Like, what are we going to do differently to, like, help, like, those inspire people to do things, and maybe sponsorships, or do you work with people to say something like that? Or
So last year we started community exchange groups, which I really like. So because giving people more intimate spaces to connect.
Yeah.
I have no problem. We all, like you said, we're all extroverts, but giving people who might be a little more shy an opportunity to connect with someone like. It's not like, a group of like dog lovers, but we have groups for minorities. We have groups for women dealers, and then next gen, and then LGBTQIA. So it's been good to have those tiny groups so that people, exactly. So people can connect on a more intimate level.
Yeah.
And so I'm really hoping those will grow. So this is our second year doing it.
Great.
And I'm really trying to grow them because I feel like giving people smaller spaces to meet each other where it's a little less intimidating than the floor. Yeah. It's probably good.
Yeah, definitely. It can definitely be overwhelming and,
even I'm overwhelmed and, I'm in this industry.
Yeah. So, I've heard, I recently talked to someone who introduced the quiet rooms and just a place to just leave the show floor and
I love that.
Kind of regroup your. I was like, oh, that sounds nice, and because it's not something that I'm just
into,
like, I'm mainlining caffeine, so I'm like, but like, she said, no, it's surprisingly really utilized. Like there was people in there all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't realize how valuable that might be to people, like just because it's not something that you need.
Other people might.
Yeah.
I mean, I love talking to people all day, but I would love a quiet room just to sit and, just it's hard, as we all know, to be on all the time. Yeah. And so having a moment to step out. And,
because after this, we all need a nap.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show with me.
Thanks for having me.
It was great learning more about you and NNDA, and I know you're doing amazing things.
Thank you.
I'll be looking forward to talking to you next year, and
I would love that. We can follow up.
Yeah, we can see where we're at with all your new initiatives. So, thank you, Ashley.
All right.